Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. We just recently took a little road trip to a haunted area known as Willow Springs. And there's a few haunted spots in there. The main one we were looking at was the Irish Legend, which is a little restaurant and pub there. And we'd like to tell you about it. So let's get weird. So as I mentioned, Willow Springs is a very haunted area. I mean, not just the town of Willow Springs, but the whole surrounding area. It seems like you can't go more than half a mile without running into some sort of a haunted location. It's got a rich history going all the way back to when the Potawatomi tribe owned the area. And they had a place called, I think, the Healing Waters or the Sacred Waters or something, where people would go to get healed in what is now the Des Plaines River. They'd called it a lake at the time. Obviously, anywhere where you have Native American legends and Native American history, you're going to have all kinds of superstitious, paranormal things attached to that. The other thing is that it's an area that was frequented by Al Capone. And as we've often brought up on this podcast, it seems like 80% of the hauntings in Illinois feature Al Capone in some way, shape, or form.
He was all over the place here in northern Illinois.
Yeah, and southern Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah, but some of the specific locations that were there, we've talked about one extensively already, which is Archer Avenue and Resurrection Cemetery, that whole area where Resurrection Mary is found. Another is the Asbury Coffee House. Another is German Church Road. And finally, there is the Irish Legend. And we're not even counting Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, which isn't too far away in Midlothian. But for our purposes today, we'll just be talking about those first four locations. And let's go kind of in reverse. Since we spent most of our time and effort on the Irish Legend, let's kind of start with the periphery here. What happened on our second trip to Archer Avenue?
Well, nothing. We went to the same cemetery. It was different conditions, actually. For once, we came when it was warmer. I think in our last video covering that, we said yes, it would be maybe worth it if we came back on a warmer day, but we doubted that anything would really change. We wouldn't see much, and that was the exact case. We went there. We drove there. Parked at basically the same spot, right at the big gates that I found really cool. We were slightly more prepared for this one. We were, I won't say we were expecting a lot, but we had our expectations straightened. So we had our, what's it called? Copper.
Oh, the dowsing rods?
The dowsing rods, I'm sorry. And the EMF, I had the thermal in my hand. Just recorded it once more, see if anything came up, anything interesting. Nothing. It was the same thing.
Yeah. I got a lot more indefinite answers on the dowsing rods this time. It was like a half yes, half no. Every time I asked a question about spirits or Resurrection Mary or anything like that, it was basically the rods were telling me I don't know.
Yeah, they're practically like, I don't know, you tell me.
Right.
Just
yeah, so it was a little disappointing. Because, again, we were kind of revitalized having just heard one of our listener accounts of running into, Resurrection Mary just, less than a decade ago. So she's still avoiding us.
Yeah. And one thing's for sure, we were not expecting to go there shortly after. I mean, it's only been like a couple months since our last visit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was one of those things where we just realized how close it was to our target destination. We're like, well, we have to go.
Yeah.
So the other place that's really close to our target destination is a place called the Asbury Coffee House, and I just thought it was called the Coffee House because that was what the big sign said. Full disclosure on this one, no idea this was a haunted location when we went there. We just wanted coffee.
Yeah, it's a shame that two of us just stay in the car like, this place is really odd to us. We don't even like coffee. Why?
Well, it's especially a shame because you're the two who would have fit in there.
Most likely.
Because everyone there was like aged like 18 to 21 and or 18 to 24, and the music was loud, and we were just the old people who walked in and ordered coffee, and they looked at us kind of strange when we ordered coffee because we didn't ask for one of the frou-frou coffee drinks on the menu, and it took much negotiation after which they ended up giving us a decaf espresso, which I thought was physically impossible, but it was there, and it was good. And they had all kinds of wonderful snacks. They had like cheesecakes and cookies, and it was a great place. It was the kind of place that I wish had existed when I was your age, basically, because it was fun. It was crowded with young people, and the food looked good, and the coffee was good, and the vibe was excellent. And one of the things they talk about is striving for inclusivity, and you could feel it. It was a very welcoming environment, which is surprising when you look at the history of it. Is apparently it used to be a general store, which was the site of a horrible fire in 1883, and the legend has it that a young woman and her daughter were burned alive in the second story of this building in 1883. So since the fire, the owners have reported that, or rather they've relayed reports from various workers that they're seeing a young girl with long black hair appearing in the building while throwing items off the shelves or tugging on their shirts. So it's an interesting haunting, and apparently some people have experienced some stuff upstairs and downstairs, and I just wish I'd known about it when I went there, because all I did was walk up to the counter, get my coffee, say, "Oh, really cool place," and then leave. Next time I'll bring my gear. But that was not the only extra place we stopped at. We also went to a place we've been wanting to check out for a while, which is German Church Road.
Yep. German Church Road has been an infamous one for us after our most popular video had this involved. Essentially, we got quite a bit of criticism from this section alone.
The location police were after us again.
Yes, the location police, the little details, which I'll get into the most famous history about this now. There was a murder that happened of two sisters, the Grimes sisters. Their names were Barbara and Patricia. Essentially, they went to go see an Elvis Presley show of some kind. They were big fans, both of them. I don't know, they just went alone, I'd assume. And this is where I made the minor mistake of saying they drove there. Well, number one, it was unclear. I read multiple articles that said it was unclear the way they traveled, but the assumed way was either walking or by bus. It was like over a mile away, so probably bus. Essentially, the mother of the Grimes sisters was expecting them home by 11:45. They did not arrive on time, and past midnight, the mom was obviously starting to get concerned, as a normal mother would. That later turned into a full police investigation where the Grimes sisters were missing. And after multiple days, actually I don't know if it was weeks or days, I'm not particularly sure, but eventually some trucker came across two frozen bodies off the side of the road, like behind the safety rails. And that's what I read. Some people, I don't remember the comment, but I remember somebody said, "Oh, it wasn't beyond the rails, it was deeper in the forest or something," but somebody along the road caught it. So
I've read multiple accounts on this, and I've heard what you've heard, that it was right over the rail. I've heard that it was deep in the woods. I've heard that they were actually in Devil's Creek, which has since been renamed, but it's a little tributary of the Des Plaines River that runs through there.
yeah.
So, sometimes when we report things and it doesn't mesh with what you've heard, it's not because, we're trying to get it wrong or that we're lazy on our research. It just means that we've got it from a different source. And, sources do not always agree, especially when we're talking about crimes that are, decades old.
Yeah,
or in some cases, centuries old.
Yeah, you hear that kind of stuff with a lot of other hauntings. Like, I know Blood's Point Road, we got criticism for too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this case had a bunch of suspects in there. Two like young guys, one was named Edward and the other one I can't remember, were convicted for some kind of murder. I don't know what the charges were, but there were many theories about what their intentions were. Either it was, sexual assault, just flat out, I don't know, maybe they were serial killers, but there was a lot of back and forth evidence about what their intention was, or like what they did.
Yeah, this was kind of the crime of the century when it happened. I mean, this was a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, that led to hauntings. One of my favorite types of haunting is, of course, the ghost car. And that's a frequent occurrence on this particular road. And there's another aspect to it, though, like right by that guardrail that we talked about.
Yeah, yeah. When we drove back by here, I don't even know if we like were able to pass by it, because like it was, all it said was it was in like a rural kind of like area. That's all we got.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got the right one, because we went over the one that was by what used to be Devil's Creek.
That was close enough.
Yeah, it was close enough. There was some construction going on around there, so we couldn't linger. But I don't know. What people see there is like a ghost car driving over it, and sometimes they see someone get out of that car and throw two bodies over the rail, which would lend credence to the story that we've heard about, the bodies being found right by the rail.
Yeah.
But obviously, we didn't see that when we were there. As a matter of fact, we didn't see anything ghostly at all. We are like batting zero on haunted roads right now.
Yeah, we've passed many haunted places now on this one long trip, and we haven't found anything.
Right. And that brings us to our ultimate destination, the Irish Legend, which is a good looking place. I mean, it's a combination pub and restaurant. Very popular place, very busy when we went there.
Another kind of firefighter themed place.
Yeah. I couldn't find anything about that in the history, but there were like firefighter uniforms hanging up in the corner.
Yeah.
We were theorizing maybe these were the people who helped put out the fire of the old O. Henry ballroom that turned into the Willowbrook ballroom across the street, where Resurrection Mary was apparently hanging out before she became a ghost. And
yeah,
we were reaching. We were really reaching. But the history of this particular place, it used to be a speakeasy, which is, one of those little illegal bars or alcohol establishments back in the days of Prohibition and Al Capone. And there were some stories that came from it. There was the classic bartender killed by a mobster going down the stairs in the basement.
Yeah. From what I've read, apparently the bartender was in love with the mobster's girlfriend at the time, and obviously that would anger a mobster, and he pushed him down the stairs essentially.
Well, he grabbed his foot as he was the mobster was like hiding under the stairs, and grabbed his foot as he was coming down the stairs, and he cracked his head open.
That's even more extreme than I was expecting. He was hiding under the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And apparently later the mobster killed his girlfriend as well for being unfaithful. So that was the basement story. There was also a boiler, I believe, also in the basement, which was used. A psychic who checked the area said it was used to torture people, because he said he was so drained and overwhelmed when he went there that he could just feel the torment of the people who had been in proximity to that. And it led to some confusion for us.
Yeah, it really made you scared for a meal.
Yeah, because as we were driving to the place, our fourth member was, going over the notes and said, we have to check out the haunted broiler. And we all kind of looked at each other and we were like, broiler? And I was planning on ordering something from the broiler. I don't want no haunted, tortured souls on my meal. What are you talking about? But then we realized there was a misplaced R in the notes, and it was in fact a haunted boiler.
Yeah.
And then, as is apparently frequently the case in Chicago hauntings, there was a haunted ladies' room involved, where women who go in there feel this sense of dread and want to get out of there as soon as humanly possible.
This was the case in the coffee place too, you mentioned, right?
Yeah, there was something in the restroom in the coffee place too. But again, we didn't go in the restroom in the coffee place, so I don't know yet. But yeah, so there were multiple haunting locations. There used to be a brothel upstairs, which had some minor hauntings attached to it. And again, this psychic shared some disturbing feelings he got from those areas up there, especially around the kitchen. So lots of haunting history here. So we immediately checked the place out.
Yeah, and so the outside basically just looks like a regular pub, at least to me. Maybe a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
The inside, there are certainly some creepy parts, like you could tell the building is old.
Right.
but again, it was very busy there from what I can remember. So
Yeah, I saw a lot of photos. I didn't get a good look at them, but there were quite a few. Obviously, the jackets that we were talking about.
Lots of beer memorabilia, lots of sports memorabilia, a lot of games on the various TV shows or TV screens in the area.
yeah, very lively place.
Yeah, and we as we often do at our haunted restaurants, we went for dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as we often do at haunted restaurants, we ordered the cheese curds.
Yep.
And I have to say, these were kind of odd. They were,
Odd?
yeah, because they were mozzarella cheese curds. I'm used to getting cheddar cheese curds.
Oh, well, for me, I just found it really authentic. I liked them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't say they were bad. They were good.
Okay.
I don't recall ever getting mozzarella cheese curds before.
Well, think about like when you're getting some from like Culver's. You get like the cheddar and then the white one. Maybe that is just white cheddar.
Yeah,
But-
I think that's just white cheddar.
Oh, okay. It tasted basically the same as mozzarella. It
Yeah.
had the same amount of salt.
That's what I thought too. It just tastes the same.
Okay. And then we each ordered different entrees. I had the all-you-could-eat fish fry, which was very, very good. The breading was excellent.
Good. Yeah, it looked appetizing. For me, I got a chicken curry. I don't know what possessed me to get that day, but I was hungry and wanted to just have something a little bit spicy, and I got the opposite. I just got something that was pretty salty and had good rice. Just basic chicken, and that's it. Oh, frozen vegetables for sure in there too.
Oh,
Like,
that's a shame.
yeah, you could have gotten like, the frozen vegetables that we get and put them in the microwave 4 minutes, 30 seconds. All good. Put them in there. That's it.
Wow.
I had a burger. I'm not quite sure what kind of sauce was on it, but it was a pretty good sauce.
Okay.
And fries with it. The fries, I don't think they're very salty. They're just like regular thin fries.
Yeah, they were like those little shoestring potato type fries. Kind of odd.
Oh yeah, I remember finishing those. Yeah, they were all right. They were like British
Yeah.
or Irish.
Somewhere in that island. Or
Yeah,
those islands.
they're more like chips.
Yeah. And then we got the desserts. I think you made out well with the dessert because you got the root beer float, right?
Yeah, that was gigantic, and I was definitely bloated the entire night and day.
And they used Sprecher root beer, which is my favorite.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. We got the, what was it, like an apple crisp?
Yeah, we had the apple crisp.
There was nothing crisp about it. It was like an apple sog.
Yeah.
It was like a little bit of oatmeal mixed with sugared apple slices and some ice cream over the top. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just I kept waiting for the crisp part, and it never quite happened.
Yeah, I gotta say, towards the end, it was starting to remind me of soup. If it's reminding me of soup, it's not a good sign.
No,
No.
probably not.
It's not good.
But that's not what we came there for. What we came there for was to investigate, and we were looking for ghosts. So, first thing we did, of course, we asked the staff. We asked the waitress, about the haunting. She seemed enthusiastic, right?
Yeah, she was enthusiastic, and she even told the manager about like our podcast and everything.
Yeah.
And apparently, the manager said that he would like text or email you eventually.
Well, she said it wasn't the manager, it was the marketing manager, which I'll get to later. But yeah, they said he was going to contact us. But before that, I mean, she handed us this little sheet of information, which was more history of the restaurant than it was the hauntings. I had asked her if there was anybody there we could talk to who knew anything about the hauntings, who had seen anything, heard anything. And, busy night, they had to have at least 30 or 40 people working there. So I thought the odds of finding somebody would be pretty good. But
Yeah.
again, nobody wanted to talk to us. Nobody invited us to check out any specific locations or anything. And all we got was we would hear back from the marketing manager. I did lay the EMF detector on the table once we made our intentions clear. And nothing really to note on the EMF detector. It died on me a couple times, but I think that might have just been the battery timeout on it.
Yeah. One thing that I will mention here for all men that go to this place, the men's bathroom. First, when you walk into the small hallway, it's a little bit hidden. There's not a symbol. There's nothing saying that this is the men's bathroom. It's just a a door.
I actually saw a symbol, but it's like faded out.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like faded, and there's a bunch of other stuff around it, so you have to really kind of hunt for it.
I did not even see that. But yeah, once you find the door,
Yeah.
then you walk into quite the mess of a bathroom.
Yeah, it was by far the scariest thing in the restaurant.
Yeah, that's the sad part. But I think I've seen worse in a school bathroom specifically.
Right.
That's like the worst.
Yeah, I guess I have too, but honestly, I was thinking I might have been better off in a porta potty.
Yeah. At least you don't have a kicked in like hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's a hole. The sink looked like it's about to fall off.
Yeah.
The faucet.
yeah, you turn on the hot water or the hotter water, and the sink, the entire thing rotates in your hand. It was quite the adventure. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the restaurant? Do you think it's a potentially haunted restaurant? Do you feel like, we were there at the wrong time, or do you think if we did a full investigation there with their permission, we might see more? What were your takes on it?
I think we would see a lot more if it was a lot less busy, and if we had to go to more parts of it, because we were very limited with where we could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tiny problem with a lot of restaurants. Most of the time when you first go there, you're not going to be able to do a lot, which I hope that the people there contact us. Hopefully they're not too mad about us making fun of their bathroom. I just hope that, maybe they fix that just for, sanitation.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to hear from them. It's been a couple weeks already.
Oh, yeah. Week's been going by fast.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do something that I almost never do on this podcast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I want to start by saying this is opinion. This isn't fact. But I am calling BS on this place. I do not believe this place is haunted. I do not believe it was ever haunted.
Oh my.
I know the history of it from reading the same thing you guys read about how they had created a fake haunting at one time involving a little boy, and saying the little girl from the coffee house would come down the street to play with the ghost little boy, and all that was proven to be false. And then it wasn't haunted for several years until this psychic guy, who, by the way, charges people for his psychic readings. This isn't like a, like a good of his heart psychic guy who comes around and interprets haunted places. This is somebody who you pay to do parties and stuff. He comes in and he says he's got all these impressions in these other places, and he feels this here and that there, and it's just all feels like BS to me. And then the final thing was when, we talked to the waitress and she couldn't find us one person who had a legitimate experience there. And when we gave her our business card, she gave it to their manager of marketing.
Yeah. Now, a small business like that, I do not believe that they have a marketing manager, unless they have a big YouTube channel, or like TikTok, a bunch of different things.
Well, even if they do, why would you give it to the manager of marketing unless you're trying to see if you can use this to drum up more business for your place?
Yeah.
To me, this sounds like a scam. This sounds like somebody who created a story to drive more business to their restaurant. It's in a haunted area with lots of haunted attractions around there. They wanted to get in on the action. That's my opinion. Again, if any of you have ever had an experience, a haunted experience in this location, I will be happy to listen to it. I will believe you a lot more than I'll believe anything that I've seen of this place so far. But until I hear a person tell me of a personal experience that happened in this place, I'm not buying it.
All right then.
What a testament.
Yeah. Okay, that was my rant. I had to get that out of my system. It's been eating away at me for, ever since we went there.
Fair enough.
So now, with that in mind, we thank you for listening to my rant and our recap of our investigation. I'm sorry if our frustration is starting to show through at yet another trip where we didn't find anything.
Yeah. If you guys have a sighting here or anywhere else of literally anything paranormal, just check out, or maybe send us a message through the Paranormal Encounters forum.
As always, we thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing.